Your DNA can tell you, where you're from, what your traits are, maybe if you have an increased risk of a disease in the future, but your DNA doesn't tell you exactly what you need to do. What really matters more in terms of determining how we feel on a daily basis and how quickly we age and if we can just still kayak when we're 65 has much more to do with how we live, how we eat, how we move, our environment, what we do. So I learned that as I was in this genetics company. And when I was there, something incredible happened. I discovered the world of glucose. And now I'm talking about this, on a daily basis and writing books about it. I discovered that my mental health got worse when my glucose, also known as blood sugar, was not healthy, steady, and balanced. I discovered that when my blood sugar levels were kind of like a roller coaster, these episodes of depersonalization happened much more frequently. There was even this one instance where I was able to see my blood sugar levels with a glucose monitor that I wore for a couple of weeks. I was able to see one of the spikes in blood sugar actually triggering the episode. I was like, whoa, I'm finally understanding a clue. How I'm eating and how that affects my glucose levels is then in turn affecting how I'm feeling and my mental health. And for me, that was like the jumping off point. I was like, whoa, this is fascinating. And I just dove really deep into it. And I studied it, for 4 years. I've been talking about it for that long and ended up writing a book about it because it's actually really important for all of us to know about this molecule and to learn to manage it.
They call you the glucose goddess.
I call myself the glucose goddess.
And now they call you the glucose goddess.
Yes, exactly. I wanted to find a catchy name after, 2 years talking about this on social media. At first, my account was just my name, Jessie Introspé, which is really hard to write and pronounce and spell. So I needed a catchy name. So I was like glucose girl, glucose gal. And then I thought glucose goddess.
You said there that, watching your glucose monitor, presumably on your phone, it was connected to your phone, you could identify that the causation between a spike in your glucose and mental health implications. Mm-hmm. But, okay, why else does glucose matter?
Yeah, it's a very good question because, not everybody has these depersonalization episodes. So when I first got that piece of information, I was like, okay, glucose is affecting how I'm feeling. Let me see in the scientific papers, what else does glucose matter for? And I went into like a massive deep dive into all of the scientific studies about glucose that I could find. I had like 1,000 tabs open on my computer browser. I just went really, really, really deep. And I discovered some amazing things. So first, I discovered that I was not alone, that most people who don't have diabetes still experience these blood sugar spikes, potentially on a daily basis without knowing it. And that's a really good piece of information because for years we thought only if you have diabetes should your glucose levels be of any concern to you. It was kind of like either you have diabetes and need to learn how to manage glucose, or you don't have diabetes and like don't even worry about it. Now we know that everybody can be suffering from these spikes without knowing it. So that was a huge revelation for me. And that study was very recent. I think it was from 2018. So when I discovered it, 4 years ago, it had just come out. So I was like, whoa, like stuff is changing on this topic. We're realizing the importance of it for everybody. Second, I was like, okay, let's look at all the symptoms that are associated with these spikes from the scientific studies, right? So the most common symptoms of glucose spikes are things like cravings for sweet foods.
Yeah. How long does that last?
Well, listen, from the studies, we know a few things. We know that one, like if you have a cookie